Hi guys, I'm Steph. Thank you so much for checking out my channel today. If you're subscribed to my channel, then you might have seen my video that went up 2 weeks ago, which was a full face first impression of e.l.f. products. And today's video is going to kind of be a sequel to that, in that I have been using those products for the past 2 weeks, so I can now kind of give more of a full comprehensive review on them, as well as kind of give you a review on all the other e.l.f. products in my collection. So hopefully I figured out a better title for this video, but basically I'm going to be giving you a review of every e.l.f. product that I own. So especially those ones that were the first impression, I'm going to be going into a bit more depth in them and how they have worked for me. And once I've been in my collection a bit longer, I'm still going to share some insights and everything. I'm going to let you know if I think it's worth it or not, so you can kind of get a full, extensive review on everything that I have tried from e.l.f. and kind of just, I guess, my thoughts on the brand as a whole. Oh, before we get into it, I do want to mention that if you are interested in this makeup look, I did a get ready with me that is going to be going up on my channel next. So it's not quite up yet, so if you are curious about this and what products I did apply, I will let you know. But if you kind of want to see that application process, then make sure you subscribe. That being said, that video isn't really like a tutorial. It's very much a chit chat get ready with me where you're going to hear a bunch of random rambles come out of my mouth. So not sure if that will interest you or not. Anyways, getting into the products. First off, we have the e.l.f. Blemish Control Face Primer. This does have salicylic acid in it. I said when I did the first impression I was interested to see if this was really going to have more of an effect on my acne. I definitely have acne, oily, prone skin, so I wanted to know if this was going to actually help. And I'm not sure if I really used it. I didn't use it every single day for the past 2 weeks, and I do have other skincare, so it's hard to tell if this is really going to make a big difference in my skin, but I feel comfortable knowing that it's not going to make my skin worse. I was a little concerned that salicylic acid can be quite drying the skin, and even though I have oily skin, I don't want to dry it out either. And I actually really did enjoy this. It goes on very almost moisturizing. It definitely doesn't feel dry. It feels like I'm giving some moisture to my skin, and with the salicylic acid I feel like I am kind of treating the acne that I do have, and I really enjoyed this product and will definitely continue to use it. I'm so happy because I did try another primer from e.l.f. years ago and I hated it, and it really turned me off from e.l.f. primers. But now I realized it was just that primer I wasn't a fan of. It wasn't e.l.f. primer, so it was more like that type of primer. I think it was a poreless one. There's a photo of it right here in case you're interested in what I'm talking about. But yeah, I was not a fan of that one, but I really do enjoy this one and excited to continue using it and would definitely recommend. Next, talking about the foundations. So in the first impression video, I wore this foundation. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish in the shade Porcelain, and I love this. This is one of my favorite foundations. I just want to continuously reach for it. I really enjoyed it. I loved it so much. That being said, you get 20 mils, which is 0.68 fluid ounces, so about 2/3 of what you get in a normal bottle of foundation. So not a lot. It is on the lower price end because it is e.l.f., so there's something about that to keep in mind. But I really enjoy this. It does come in a glass bottle, which is kind of scary but really nice. If for someone who's clumsy, it's kind of scary, but it also gives a nice aesthetic to it, and I really enjoy this and I'm excited to continue using it. Definitely would recommend. Next up is the Acne Fighting Foundation. I am wearing it on my face today, and when you first put it on, I really love how it looks, but I do find that midway through the day I just notice how incredibly oily I am. And I'm an oily person, I get that, but I do not notice that with other foundations. I do not love it for that, and I feel like putting on the e.l.f. Blemish Primer is enough for acne, that I don't need to go in with an anti-acne fighting foundation as well. So for me, this isn't something I would purchase. I definitely will use it up because I'm not someone who declutters, so I'm going to use up pretty much, or attempt to use up everything I have. But that being said, I wouldn't, if someone asked me about this and they're like, oh, should I purchase it? And I would say no, and I said, if you really want makeup that's anti-acne, I would go for primer because that is the first product you are putting on your face. Next is the 16-Hour Camo Concealer, and I don't know, I definitely got a wrong shade. This is in the shade Fair Warm. It is so incredibly light and brightening. You only need the tiniest little bit, so this is definitely going to last you a long time. I'm not quite sure how much comes in here, but again, you really do not need a lot. That being said, I found that under the eyes, this could look very heavy and really settle into fine lines. So again, you need the smallest amount. Really not my favorite, and I am wearing it today, and I just feel like you can still see these bags under my eyes. So it's definitely very brightening, but I don't know if I really see the coverage is there. I feel like I still need to go in with a color corrector, which I didn't do today. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I didn't do it today because I kind of wanted to show you guys what this product looked like on its own. Not not my favorite drugstore concealer. I really think Maybelline does amazing concealers, and they would wear, in the drugstore, I would lean more towards them for concealers. In the previous video, I used the e.l.f. finishing powder. You can like see outside, I think. Anyways, like I said, I have been using these products for the past 2 weeks to kind of get a better feel of them, and I have already hit pan, and I would say that is like fairly significant pan, and I was surprised by that. I've been using this product for 2 weeks, and this is supposed to have 9.4 grams of powder in it, and that just seems really fast to be going through it. I really love how this powder looks, but that is a little bit nerve-wracking. Like, the e.l.f. is at a lower price point, but this powder is just so powdery that you really are going through it. You put your brush in, it's really going to kick up a lot, so that's something to consider. And like I said, I wasn't just using that powder, I was also using the e.l.f. Prime and Stay Finishing Powder, and this is the one I'm wearing today. And again, look, significant pan on this as well. This one has less product with 5 grams, so this one is close to double of it, but I've already hit pan. And again, like, I was using these products not at the same time. I was using one or the other over 2 weeks. I maybe used each one like 10 times, and to see pan on both of them is kind of like, I mean, if it's $2 when I'm going through it in a month, then like, is it really worth it? Just to give you a comparison, I was working on the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte earlier this year, and it took me like 3 to 4 months to hit pan on that. So to hit pan in like 2 weeks on 2 powders is kind of like, wow, you are really flying through these. So in terms of what I actually think about the powders, I think they both do a good job. I would say that the one in the silver packaging, the finishing powder, is definitely a lot more finely milled. I feel like I get more of like, I don't want to quite say an airbrushed effect, but it's definitely like very fine. This one is a little bit thicker, but not to the point where I really feel like there is much of a difference between them. But again, another powder that is like so powdery. Like, look at the pan in this and pan in this, and after 2 weeks of use, like, it shouldn't look like this for either of them, let alone like 10 uses each. So because of that, I actually would not recommend either of these. I think that they're fine powders and that they do a good enough job. Honestly, if I was in a situation where I like forgot to pack a powder with me, or my powder broke and I was traveling and I needed to pick up something that I knew was going to work, I would pick up one of these 100% because it's going to work, it's going to do a good job, but I wouldn't have this be the powder that I am purchasing all the time. Next we have bronzers, and this is the Sunkissed Glow Bronzer. It is more of a shimmery bronzer, and I would say this is very like orangey on the skin. I am not wearing it today, but I did try it in that first impression video, but this is a product I have finished not once but twice, and now I'm kind of realizing after using those other powders why I finished it so quickly. I definitely did enjoy it, but I think e.l.f. in general does have more powdery powders, which is why you go through them a bit faster, especially like in the round packaging like this. But I think it's nice. It does give a nice glow to the skin. I wouldn't say it's anything remarkable. If you like a glowy bronzer and you want to try something like that, then I think this is a great product to test out. And then again with bronzer, I had this Fiji Matte Duo. This bronzer is what I am wearing on my face today, and I really enjoyed this bronzer. It feels to be a bit more tightly packed, both of these powders, compared to the ones I've showed you earlier, and I love this bronzer so much. This blush is so beautiful. You might be worried it is a bit dark. It does look a bit dark, but I just think it looks like such a beautiful nude on the cheeks. You can definitely build it up, but it doesn't have to be so crazy. I am not wearing it today, but I did wear it a lot this past few weeks, and I think I wore this in my first impression video, and I really do enjoy this compact. I definitely think it is worth it, especially like if I'm not a fan of face palettes or duos really, because I feel like I just prefer singles. It just makes it easier for me, but I love having this duo, and I think like I'm going traveling in a few weeks, and I think I will definitely be bringing this with me on vacation because it's just so simple to have both products if you really don't want to take a lot. And I love digging into this, and I feel like I will definitely get a lot of use out of this. So this is definitely a product I would recommend, and I'm really excited to continue to use. I also have been testing out this blush in Twinkle Pink, and this is what I am wearing on my cheeks today. I do have highlighter on, so it's not all this glow, and then I actually have it on the inner third of my lid because I want to give it a little bit of shimmer. Using it as an eyeshadow, like, I'm not sure if you can tell, it does have like sparkle in there, but I feel like when I tried to pack it on as an eyeshadow, that sparkle didn't really come through. And when you use it as a blush, I feel like it gives it a bit of luminosity, but it's not like you're seeing these like sparkles right on your cheeks, which I am happy about that because I don't need sparkles on my cheeks, but I like it. This is kind of like where I feel like with a glowy bronzer, it's kind of like middle of the road, take it or leave it. If someone asked me about this or the Fiji Matte Compact, I would say go for the compact. I just think this blush you're going to get a lot more use out of. I feel like you can wear with a lot of different looks. Moving on to highlighter, I do have this liquid highlighter. I think it's just called Illuminating, and I am not a fan of this. This comes out so oily, like no matter how much I shake it up or anything like that, or if I use it a few days in a row, that the first part that comes out is always so oily. I did try using this as a targeted highlighter and I was just not a fan of it. I felt like it either didn't blend out nicely or it didn't really actually end up being that intense on the skin, and like you couldn't really see it because once you blended it out, it just blended away. So how I have found to use this is adding it into my primer. Honestly, do I think this really does anything? Because once you put the foundation on, can you really see like that extra glowiness? I'm not sure. Like, I have it, so I think that is the way I'm going to use it, but I don't think that it is worth buying. Like, I have it, so I'm going to use it that way, but I wouldn't say buy this for that purpose. And that trend of being disappointed in highlighters kind of continues with the powder ones. So today I am wearing this shimmering highlighting powder, and I had tried this previously before the first impression video. I just felt like it really emphasized the texture on my face, and I haven't really noticed that with other highlighters, maybe here or there, but this one I felt like it just sat on top of my skin. It didn't really meld in. I was not a fan of it. So like I said, I am wearing it today. I don't think it looks as bad as it used to. The thing is, I dropped this and I had to repress it, and I'm not sure if that helped or it didn't. This is the shade of it. Again, like I said, I'm wearing it here, down the bridge of my nose, a little bit my brow bone, and I like this a lot more than I did before I repressed it. That being said, I would still not consider this a favorite highlight. Like, from the formula, I don't think it really looks like there is sparkle or anything in there, but on the cheeks, like, you can definitely see little sparkles. Not my favorite look. I have a lot of highlighters, and this is definitely just not one I am like a super big fan of, and I think it's more disheartening because I was so excited for this product because I had heard other people talk about this highlighter and I heard such positive reviews, and I was like so excited to test it out, and it's just like so much less than my expectations. Like, it's definitely a disappointing product. I don't feel like I've had a lot of really disappointing products, but this is one of them, and I would not recommend. The other highlighter I was testing out was the Baked Highlighter in Moonlight Pearls. This is the one I'm wearing in the first impression video, and people say you have to scrape off the top layer and then it becomes like really beautiful and glowy. And here's the thing, like when you swatch it, like you can see like it has this beautiful payoff, but here it is right here, and I feel like maybe with the finger swatch like you can still see it a bit, but when you use a brush to pick this up, I feel like I just do not get that same payoff on my cheeks, and it's like just so disappointing because I see the potential and it looks so beautiful, but that's just not what is translating when I apply it to my face with a brush, which is again really frustrating. Not as big as a disappointment as the other highlighter I just spoke about, but still not one where I was like, honestly, if you're going to go to the drugstore for highlighters, like I think there are better ones on the market than the e.l.f. ones. Just not one I would recommend. Moving on to eyebrows, this is a tried and true product. This is the e.l.f. brow pencil in the shade Natural Brown, and I love this. It has a spoolie on this end, and the pencil tip is a little bit thicker. It's not quite a micro pencil. Like, I do not have a lot left, but it is a bit of a thicker tip. It's a very waxy formula, so I have a scar in my eyebrow here. Hopefully you can't see it, but so when I do my brows, I have to draw right onto my skin, and I find with a lot of brow pencils that they don't actually adhere to the skin. It rubs off partway through the day and you can see my scar, and I think this does a great job of actually like being drawn onto the skin. This is a repurchase for like multiple times. This is definitely not anything I just started using. As you can see, very little left, and this is a product I have used a lot. I think it's $2. Like, you definitely do get your money's worth. I really enjoy this, and it's something I will continue to repurchase, I think. This is 100% recommend, excited to use, love. Getting into eyeshadow, this is the palette that I have been trying out recently, and this is the Mad for Matte 2 Summer Breeze. I am wearing it on my eyes today with a bit of that Twinkle Pink blush on the inner third. I've been using this a lot over the last 2 weeks. I used it in that first impression videos, and I didn't give swatches then. For all the other powder, bronzer, blush, highlighters, I gave swatches in that first impression video, so if you're want to see swatches, then I recommend checking out that video. I'm going to quickly swatch out this palette so you can kind of see what it looks like swatched out before I tell you my thoughts on it. Okay, so here's the palette swatched out. Not quite sure why I did it in this order, but there's the first 4 here and then the next 6. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom here, and then the next 6 up above. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but I would say this, all kind of look quite similar. So once you actually put it on your eye, and then especially when you start blending them together, it is really starting to look just like one big color. You don't see a lot of definition. They are very, very soft formula. Like, they're really nice. Again, they're like powder. I could see someone hitting pan quite quickly on these. Like, I still like the look I got with them, but I think I'm just so disappointed because a while back, this was like such a hyped product, and it's just definitely did not meet my expectations at all. Could test it out for a week and then decide if I was going to purchase it or not. I wouldn't pick this up. This is an old product, not even sure if they still sell it. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Eyeshadow in Sea Breeze. And it looks like this. So it's just a quad of like 4 blues. And these are the swatches. So the first 2 don't look super different. The last 2 don't look super different. It's chalky. When you try to blend out that navy, it just kind of like blends away. Like, you don't really get like the full impact of it. So again, I'm just not a fan of e.l.f. eyeshadows. They have those bigger palettes like the, what is it, like Opposites Attract or something like that, which I'm like so intrigued by. But just based on the other eyeshadows I've used from e.l.f., it like really doesn't seem worth it to purchase it. And like, people are saying good things, but it's just like, I don't know, it's hard for me to kind of trust that. Another thing I wanted to mention about the Mad for Matte palette is I use this black shade as a liner, and I have hooded eyes. My eyes open, like the lid touches up here, and there was so much transfer. So I use this as a liner. I use it right here, and I had this like black line up here. Not the look I was going for, so again, something else that frustrated me about this palette. At least they're pressed eyeshadows. So I have these other 2 eyeshadowy type products. So first I'll talk about this pot. This is the Smudge Pot in Cruise and Chic. It looks like this. I hope you can tell, like, I definitely did use it a bit. The thing is, like, sometimes I use this, when I first used it in the first impression video, I used it as a base and I thought that was fine. I subsequently have tried to use it kind of as like my shimmer shade, or like not a topper shade because it's too opaque for that, but like kind of doing a look like this and then using this as like the shimmer shade as the final touch, and it just looks so heavy. The thing is, it lasts all day, so you're definitely going to have that look at the end of the day, which is great if you're working a long day. Like, sometimes I work like 12 hours, I get home and I'm like, wow, my makeup, my eyes, like, this is still on. But the thing is, it can look very heavy, and it can kind of, I don't want to say crack up, like maybe like wrinkle a bit with your eyelids. So you're not going to have the smoothest look on your eyelids. It's going to look very textured. It's definitely going to be there. And if people are looking at you from far away, like, it's not going to look bad. But like, when I look at myself close up, I'm just like, that is not the cutest. So still trying to figure out how to work this. That being said, this is, I think I might have bought this at Marshall's, so that's already older. I bought it a while ago, so that makes it even older. So I'm not sure if you got a fresh one, if that would really be the same case. So I don't want to judge it too harshly, but just from my experience with it, I wouldn't feel compelled to go and buy more of these. And I do have a powder shadow that is very similar to this, so a lot of times I'll use this and then do the powder shadow over it. And maybe I just need to use this on its own. Maybe that is making it too heavy. So still on the fence about this one. I think I would probably tell people that there's better stuff on the market and like not to go for this. We also have the Molten Liquid Eyeshadow, and this is in the shade Rose Gold. When I did the first impression on this, I loved it. It was so beautiful. This is one of the products where I was like, I'm excited to continue to use this to see how it goes. And I think the thing with this is you don't want to layer it. Once you start layering it, it looks really heavy. It just starts to look really heavy. But I want it to look opaque, so you've got to really make sure that on that first swipe you're getting an opaque layer and that it's not sheer, because then you go to build it up and it doesn't build up well. So really, this has got to be like a one swipe thing, and you got to make that one swipe count. And I have been able to do that. There have been times where at first I was layering it up because I got a sheer layer, and you definitely do not want to layer this product. It does not build nicely. But if you can get one good layer of it and you like how that looks, then I think this is a beautiful product and I have really enjoyed using it. This eyeliner, I am wearing it today. I'm not sure if you can tell. This is in the shade Coffee. This is just their waterproof eyeliner pen. This is what the tip looks like, and I really like this product. This is a repurchase for me and something that I'm really excited to have back in my collection and use. I really enjoy how it works. I think it is so easy to get on. You can get a very precise line with it. Like, sometimes I find when I'm doing eyeliner on my upper lash line, I just get really far from the lashes and it looks like ridiculous. And I feel like with this, I can get so precise and so close to the lash line, and it looks really nice. So I love this, would definitely recommend. This mascara, this is the Lengthening and Volumizing Mascara. Even in the first impression, I already had to add contact solution to this to make it a bit more wet. That being said, I don't know if it's because this is an older product or just the way the mascara is. I know they don't even come in this packaging anymore, and a lot of people did used to have a lot of issues with the e.l.f. mascara. They weren't the greatest, so that could just be part of it. I don't feel fair giving it like a yay or nay because it is older and I don't even know if this formula is still around anymore, so I don't really want to say like don't buy e.l.f. mascaras. This particular one for me and my usage I didn't love. I find it dry. I don't think it does much. I think it's a very natural mascara. I would say it does a good job at separation. I don't really think it does anything for lengthening and volumizing, which is what it claims to do. So I'm not a fan. Like, I'm using it. I have to use it in conjunction with another mascara today. I'm using this and the Benefit Roller Lash, and I just feel like it's kind of getting me to where I want my lashes to be, and I think I'll just continue using it for like the next month and then probably just get rid of it. Like, I'm excited. I'm already excited to put this in my empties and be done with it. So I think that kind of shows you my thoughts on that. I only have 3 lip products from e.l.f. The first is this e.l.f. Lip Crayon in Natural. I am wearing it on my lips today, and this is actually also part of a project pan. I really love this shade. It's just like this beautiful mauve color right there, and I'm really enjoying it. I wouldn't say this is my favorite formula. I do think it can be a little bit on the drying side, so I'm happy I have it, excited to use it, love the color, not a fan of the formula, so I probably wouldn't pick up any more or recommend them per se. On top of it, I am wearing this color. This is the e.l.f. Beautifully Bare Satin Lipstick in Touch of Berry, and I love this. I think it feels so nice and hydrating on the lips. You can wear a sheer layer of it, or you can build it up and it can be a little bit darker, so I love that it has that versatility to it, and this is something I really enjoy and I would recommend. Next is the e.l.f. Lip Lacquer, and I believe this is in the shade Natural. I really enjoy this. I think it is so beautiful. It gives your lips a little bit of color. It looks so beautiful and glossy. It has some staying power to it. Like, I really enjoy this product. I think I mentioned this in the first impression video, but this was a free gift with purchase and it ended up being like such a standout product for me and one of my favorite lip products. So I really do enjoy this one and would recommend. Before we end off, I do have a number of e.l.f. brushes. A lot of these are ones I have had a while and some of them are new to me, and I just kind of want to quickly go through them with you. This brush right here is probably my oldest e.l.f. brush. This is the face brush. I used to use this for bronzer. I definitely think it is too loose for that. Now I use it as for a finishing powder to just all over my face. I really like it. It is nice and fluffy. It's really good if your bronzer's too harsh, your blush is too harsh, to kind of just like blend everything together. The ferrule has like come off a few times, like this wooden part has been disconnected from this, and I have glued it back together I think like 2 or 3 times. So I really love this product, like this brush. I don't want to get rid of it. It's like a staple one I pretty much use every day, so I really like this one. So next are my eye brushes. Some I love more than others. So this one I pretty much do use every day. This is the blending eye brush. I really like this one. It is a bit thicker. I really do enjoy it. I think it does a great job for a transition. This crease brush I do not like. This is the crease brush. I just find, I don't know if the way this one was manufactured or what they used, it is just like so scratchy, and I use it sometimes, but I don't love it. I find it's just like really scratchy and not my favorite. This one I use pretty much every day. This is the defining eye brush, and I love using this on my lower lash line because of the angle. I just find it goes on so nicely, and it's just really easy to like put it next to my lash line and buff out that under eye color. So I really love this one. Next I have this one. It's just the eyeshadow brush. It's a flat brush, and I would say I don't really use this one a lot. I feel like I tend to use my fingers when I'm putting on my shimmer shade, but if it's something like this where I want to do this and then I want to spray with Fix Plus, this is the type of brush I'm going for, and I really like it. I think it serves its purpose well with like packing on a shimmering shade. This eyeshadow brush was new to me, and I definitely did not get a lot of use out of it. This is the e.l.f. crease brush. The material is weird. It just feels like so synthetic and not, it just like, I just don't love the feel of it. I feel like I need to use it, I guess, a little bit more, but it's definitely not my favorite one. Like, this is something I would use to like, I guess, blend everything together. And I feel like I tend to go for more this type of shape for that step. This is like a little bit more dense but still has some fluff to it, and I just like the shape of it more. Another brush I use for this type of step is this one from Real Techniques. This one is from It Cosmetics. I don't know, it's just weird. I don't really know how to put into words. Still on the fence about it. These two I didn't really get a lot use out of. This is a lip brush. I mean, it seems pretty standard. This one has a spoolie on this end and then a angle brush on this end. I used it once for my pomade. I thought it did a decent enough job. I was using with the Benefit Brow, and I think the brush that comes with it just it's easier to use than like finding a different brush for it, but I'm happy I have this in my collection anyways. And then these are the big 3 face brushes I was testing out. This one is a powder brush, and I picked this up because I heard people suggesting using it for highlight. This brush, it is too big to use as a highlighting brush. Like, you're just covering too much area, I think. They say this is a setting brush. I would feel like this might be, it's nice for like the under eye, but not my favorite brush. Probably didn't need to pick it up. This brush I'm so disappointed in. So this is the Ultimate Blending Brush. I was hoping to use this as like a foundation buffing brush, but it's just not quite dense enough. If it was a bit more denser, I feel like you could, but I feel like the shape of it is kind of like elongated this way, if you can tell. And I think this does a nice job for contouring. So I like it for that, but not the intended use I had for it, but still found a way to use it. This is the pointed powder brush, and initially I thought this would be good for contouring because I thought it could really get in there, but it is just too fluffy. It has like no structure to it. It's just too much to the point where you can't really like blend things out because it's just like smushing itself back and forth. The way I have found to use this is as a powder brush, so just going into the powder and just like dabbing it all over and then going like nicely. I feel like that works really well for this, but so it's interesting. Some of these brushes I had like an initial idea I thought I could use it for, ended up not working, but I found another way to use them that I really enjoy. So I definitely feel like this is a brush I will continue to use. This one I'm kind of like about. This one was like I definitely did not need. So kind of have the whole spectrum there. And that is it. That is every single e.l.f. product I own and my thoughts on them. Quick views on e.l.f. Like I think it is a good brand. Like I like it. I think it is affordable. It makes makeup easily accessible. I think that they're always improving, putting out new products, like they're still following the trends. It's just not like the same old. I think the price point has started to creep up in some areas. They're definitely offering a broader range of things, but I think they still have those core items that are more affordable, like the brow pencil, which is still only $2. So I think e.l.f. is interesting in the way that they're kind of like moving up but also staying where they were. It's an interesting line. I really like that it is affordable. It's one thing I think that is hard for people with e.l.f. is that it's not necessarily easily accessible. In the States, it is like so easy to get, like besides the fact that you can just buy it online, I think it's like available in Target, which is like pretty much everywhere, but in Canada, I know it is a lot harder. Not all of the products come here, or if they do come here, it takes like so long. Like I was just talking about that Opposites Attract palette. I think I like just started seeing it in stores here, and I'm pretty sure that has been out for like well over a year. And I know in Europe, I think the last time I was in England, I started to see it in Boots, but that was like a new development. And for the rest of Europe, I'm not really sure. I don't think it's necessarily easily accessible. So I think people want to be more interested in e.l.f., but it's just hard when it's so difficult to get your hands on if you're not in the States. But that being said, if you are in the States, I think it's definitely line for testing things if you're not sure if it's your type of thing. Like if you're not sure you're going to like a liquid highlighter, pick up a liquid highlighter from e.l.f. See if you can like fit it into your routine if it's something you like. I think it's a great accessible way to kind of test out a new type of product, but I don't think they're like, once you test it and see that you like something, I don't think a lot of their products are like tried and true going to be like repurchases. I think they do have a few standout products. Like I love that e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I will definitely continue to repurchase it, but I think a lot of their things are like middle of the road, easily accessible if you're first getting into makeup. But I definitely think there is a place for it in the market, and overall I'm pretty good with the brand. So those are kind of my thoughts on e.l.f. as a whole and all of my products. And looking in the viewfinder, I really wish I had been standing here for the majority of the video because the lighting is so much better. Why? Here, dark. So dark. Here, so much brighter. Why? Why did I not realize this? So, sorry you had to watch this video basically in the dark. Hope it was still helpful for you. And now that I know that, hopefully this will not be an issue going forward. So, really sorry about that. And let me know what is your favorite e.l.f. product and your least favorite e.l.f. product, and kind of like what do you think about e.l.f. as a brand, and do you purchase a lot of makeup from them? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye!